Okay, so this is a review of the Smokin-It Model 2 electric grill. Ordered it right before Labor Day, which was about 3 weeks ago. They oftentimes run specials I see on the website, and they'll include the cover and this little device here, which is to cover the chip tray if you're using chips instead of blocks. They did come with a bag of blocks, although I would have liked to know what kind they were. And it comes with this stainless steel pan. So all of that stuff came with it. Out of the box, it essentially looks it's fully assembled except for the wheels. The wheels you need to put on, they are lockable wheels, and it does even come with one little wrench to attach the wheels with. It did come with a second wrench, which was smaller. I called the company because I didn't know what that was for, and they stated it was not needed, so just to throw it away. So I did. So we take the cover off, and we'll kind of show you what we have here. So this is the grill. It's about 15 by 15 square across. It's got a thermometer on top that ranges from 100 degrees all the way up to 250 degrees. And apparently on some of the videos it said that there was some recommended cooking times and temperatures, but we don't have this on the newer Model 2, I see. There's also a power light to show you when the element is on and when it's plugged in and working. The cord on it is very nice. It's 12 foot long, so if you're smoking, you can plug it in, far away and still be able to smoke. This hook was an additional accessory that came with the device too. I don't think it's standard, but it was part of a military promotion they were doing for Labor Day, I think, or for Memorial Day rather. So opening up the grill, it's got two very heavy-duty latches on the front, right here and right here. They're a little bit difficult to latch if you don't, if you're not careful. But anyway, you can undo it. You can see that I've already seasoned this. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me turn it around. It's already been seasoned, and I've actually used it once. Last weekend I put 6 pounds of flats and drummy chicken wings in here. Took them for about 2.5 hours with a simple oil rub and some Cajun seasoning, and it turned out very nice. It comes with 4 grill racks and these side rack holders that are removable. Dishwasher safe, apparently. This comes out. This is your box for your wood chips and covers. They recommend covering the bottom with foil before you smoke and during smoking for the seasoning, and covering the top of this lid as well, which I do. And then make sure that you poke a little hole in the foil right there so the fat and such can drip through. They do provide a pan to go underneath here, but I did find a cake pan, as you'll see later when I actually smoke the ribs. Works just as well and fits in there nicely, so you don't have to wash anything. Alright, so I'm going to get the meat ready. It's been soaking overnight, and I'll finish the review in just a moment. Okay, getting ready for the next step. What I've done is I went ahead and lined the bottom with foil and poked a little hole there for the drain. I've foiled the top of the smoke box, the wood box. I've gone ahead and put my wood in there. What I have in here, since I'm doing ribs today, is some hickory. And I did put a couple of charcoal briquettes in there. The reason I'm doing that, this is kind of a trial thing I'm doing. I saw on another review that somebody put charcoal briquettes in there to help get the smoke ring, which normally you don't find in electric and gas smokers. So at the end of the review, after the smoke is all done, we'll take a look and see if there is a smoke ring that you don't normally get with electric smokers. Again, 2 hickory chips. I used to really smoke for hours and hours and hours, but after reading more reviews online, I did find that after 2 hours it's kind of just a wash. You don't really get any more additional smoky flavor. In fact, you might get over smoked if anything. So I just used 2 wood chips. It smokes for about 2 hours in this thing, or it did last time, and we'll let that go. The wood box, make sure it's all the way closed, and it just slides onto the shelf right over the element. Okay, and here's what I'm using for the briquettes. This is from Trader Joe's. It's high heat, even grill temperature, long burn, low ash, and again just some grocery store hickory chunks. Wanted to mention the pan again. It does come with that stainless steel pan, but I'm just using a disposable pan, and it does fit onto the rack and stays nicely in place, so you can just throw it away when you're done. The reason I upgraded to this grill is because I was using this grill, which is an excellent grill. It's a Brinkman. I've had it now for about 4 or 5 years. And in the bottom here, there's a combination smoker under here, which you can see is very heavily used. I've done turkeys, chickens, ribs, pork, beef, brisket, all kinds of stuff. But the problem is the gas grills are very hard to control the temperature in. It's got a temperature gauge on the outside that says it starts at 200. But even at the lowest temperature, I couldn't really get this thing to stay under 250. And usually it's sitting around 225, 325, 275 range. And when you turn it down, the gas grill seems to just kind of blow out even in low wind. So I switched to the electric. The next segment of this video will be me actually explaining what I put on the rub and putting the ribs on using the 2-2-1 method. Okay, see you shortly. Alright, so we're getting ready to put the ribs onto the grill. What I do first is rub them down with a little bit of mustard the night before, and then I take a mixture of 1 bag of light brown sugar along with a good healthy seasoning of adobe. This Creole seasoning, it's already got salt, pepper, garlic, and red pepper. I do put some cayenne to kind of offset the sweet from the brown sugar, and paprika for color. I do let that sit overnight. I took it out about an hour ago, let it come to room temperature, and now we're ready to put them on the grill. I'm going to use the top 2 of the 4 racks. There's 1. There's 2. And let's put the big fat one on the top rack here. This little device here is called a pigtail flipper. By the way, if you don't have one, you need one. It'll be great. Love it. Okay, I'm going to kind of put that one in the center. Alright, so there we go. These are baby backs. I expect the total cooking time to be about 5 hours using the 2-2-2 method. That means 2 hours smoking, 2 hours wrapped in foil, and then another hour unwrapped. And I'll put that last batch in a pan, by the way. I'm going to cook this at 225 the whole time. I'm not going to add any wood chips to this. And I'll come back in about 15 minutes when this thing starts smoking. I did forget, before I turn this thing on, a very important step. Almost forgot, would have been disastrous. Essentially, to put some liquid in here to give some humidity and moisture to the smoking process. What I usually use is water, but this time I'm going to try beer. Just to see if it gives it any additional flavor. And so I just use again another disposable pan. Fill that up, leaving myself a little sip out of there. And this fits nicely right onto the side of the smoker box. And so I just put that in there. So there we go. We got the smoker box with the hickory and charcoal. We got the beer, and we got the ribs. So now we're going to let that go. And I think earlier I said the 2-2-2 method. That was a mistake. I used 2-2-1. 2 hours smoking, 2 hours in foil, and then an hour open in a pan. That's it, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, and you can see that smoker, maybe you can or can't see, smoke is starting to come out of the little vent hole on the top. It'll start smoking much heavier here shortly. I want to add a couple things. You always want to keep some kind of a glove handy or mitt. I use the UV glove. You can throw it in the washing machine. It's great. You can grab the meat. You can grab the rack, whatever you need to grab. Also, these things are handy. This one is an eye grill. And what's nice, a feature about having this grill with a little hole in the top, is if you want to check the ambient temperature, if you're cooking a big roast or a chicken or something where you'd like to check the temperature, this actually just slides right down in there and can stick into the meat. There's also an ambient temperature probe with the eye grill. I don't have that one. But if you're cooking a roast or something big and you want to monitor the temperature, it really should work great. Another additional comment is, last time I smoked on this last weekend, and I did see this online as well, there was some kind of a combustion event where it just went whoosh, and a big puff of smoke came out the top, and never did it again. But I was I guess fortunate enough to see that for myself, and it does occur. And essentially what happens is the thing gets up to a certain temperature based on the volume, and it outgasses itself somehow. The height of this thing is about, just not to change subject, but it's about 24 inches with the wheels, 20 without the wheels, which is small enough to fit in a small SUV or something like that. It's really, I found it was really well constructed. You can see that there's only just a tiny bit of smoke that may be leaking out of here, which after this thing really heats up well, tends to stop, and the only smoking that you'll see come out of this thing is out of that top vent, which is nice. Stainless steel construction. I thought it's very well made. Now you might be able to not be able to see that with the lights on since it's working. Set at 225 degrees, and again we're going to let that go for 2 hours, and we'll be back and we'll foil it on up. See you in 2 hours. Okay, it's been 2 hours. We're going to take the ribs out and we're going to put them in this pan, and we're going to add a little beer just to keep it moist. You put water, apple juice, whatever you want. If I'm using chicken or anything like that, I would definitely use apple juice. Let's see what we have. We're still smoking a little bit for the most part. I think all the smoke is pretty much done. Our pan of water is about third full. And let's put the ribs. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Get these bad boys in there. I'm actually going to end up taking this top rack out too while we're here. If I had just one slab of ribs, I would wrap this individually. But since I'm doing, just quite a few ribs here, I'm probably going to just wrap them up covered in this pan. Let them cook that way. Alright, so I'm going to take the foil. I'm going to take one of those racks out, close her on up, and let her cook at 225 for an additional 2 hours. So far, they're looking pretty darn good. Welcome back. It's been about an hour, and so we're on the 2-2. We're on the last part, which is the 1 hour on the rack with some barbecue sauce on it. So let's see how they're looking. Good color, good moisture. They're almost done. So we're just going to put a little barbecue sauce on them. This is just some Weber barbecue sauce with some water added. That's going to give them a nice glaze. And they're getting close to being done. I think this last hour will be perfect. Looking forward to that smoke ring too. Alright, we'll see you back in 1 hour. Okay, it's been an hour, and just short of an hour actually. It's been about 50 minutes. We took the ribs out. You can see they've got a nice color to them, nice char. They've pulled off the bone very nicely. I was looking for that smoke ring by putting that charcoal in there. I don't really see one on here, so that didn't work out so well, but didn't change the flavor at all. But the charcoal did not add a smoke ring to this. That was interesting. So that was my video on the smoker and on how to smoke ribs. Hope you enjoyed it. Put comments below.